Am I the a-hole for exposing my fiancé at our engagement party? I, 31M, have been with my fiancée, Sarah, 2080F, for 3 years. We got engaged 6 months ago, and last weekend, we had a fancy engagement party with both our families and close friends. Everything was perfect until I found out what she did. Sarah and I had an agreement: no surprise speeches. I'm not big on public speaking, and I didn't want any weird stories from my past being dragged out in front of everyone. She agreed. But midway through the party, she stood up, grabbed the mic, and said, "I have a little confession to make." She smiled at me and said, "Before I met my name, I used to date his brother." Wait. What? The room went silent. My older brother, Mark, 34, looked like he saw a ghost. I was in shock. I turned to Mark, who wouldn't even make eye contact. My fiancé laughed nervously and said, "It was years ago, babe. A silly little fling? It doesn't count, right?" I just snapped. I grabbed the mic and said, "Funny because Mark told me you two dated for 2 years." The guests gasped. My mom nearly dropped her wine glass. Sarah's face drained of color. She stammered, I didn't think it mattered." I cut her off and said, "It matters when you lie to me for 3 years." Then I looked at Mark and asked, "Did you know she never told me?" He shook his head, looking just as blindsided as I was. Then Sarah really messed up. She said, "Oh, come on, you're overreacting. It's not like we were engaged or anything." Mark stood up and said, "Actually, we were." Boom. My fiancé was engaged to my brother before me and never told me. I walked out. I left my own engagement party. Sarah called me crying, saying I humiliated her, that she was going to tell me one day. My parents are on my side, but her family says I should have talked to her privately instead of making a scene. Am I the a-hole?